Are you looking to build a secondary dwelling, granny flat, strata title, subdivision? Are you looking to create cash flow by adding a dwelling on your own property? Well, you need to work with the right brokers and the right banks to actually fund these types of deals. I'm doing 4 developments myself in the next 12 months, and this guy is helping me. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how that's achieved.
Yeah, so I'm Nevada from Cube Loans. We're seeing a fair bit of investors building secondary dwellings, obviously to improve
Myself
yield,
included.
doing a few for yourself. I think it was a good topic to chat on because there's a few different ways you can go about it. So some people are essentially cashing out funds and funding it directly themselves.
Yep.
But in particular situations where there may not be enough equity in the portfolio, so let's just say someone's currently sitting at a 75% LVR.
Yep.
So there's not quite enough there to cash out to fund.
Because the build costs, well, I'm not sure what you're seeing on the broking side, but as a buyer's agent, the cheapest builds we see are about 160, and that's a cheap 1 bed, 1 bath.
Yeah.
And that can be up
200, 250 is probably what the common ones we're seeing.
Yeah, and that probably leads into most 2 bed, 1 bath, which is most granny flats across southeast Queensland and Victoria. And then moving into your 3 bed space, 3 bed, 2 bath, I'm doing a build for about 3 to 350. And then 4 bed, 2 bath, you're probably looking at around that 350.
It's still called a granny flat, but it's like a house. It's not.
That's why you work with our team at Purpose Property, because we can get you granny flat sites, which are even up to a 4 bed, 2 bath. So if you want to find out about that, we can talk you through it.
Yeah.
But those are the rough ranges from about 160 for 1 bedders, 2 to 250 for 2 bedders, 300 for 3 bedders, and up to 400 for 4 bedders.
Yeah. So in the instances where just there's not enough equity to cash out the full amount, you can do it as a construction loan.
Yeah.
So essentially, the lender will look at current value and then do the equation on current value plus the improvement value. So let's just say property for easy figures. When I'm doing public maths, I don't embarrass myself. So easy figures, a property's worth $1 million.
Yep.
And you're putting on a granny flat that's worth 200,000.
Yep.
Generally, they'll value the end product at 1.2, sometimes more.
Yeah.
In certain situations, they'll value it much higher, but as a very conservative...
Generally, you're expecting a bank valuation at cost price.
Correct. And we have seen instances where it's well and above that, but good figure to work on is just the cost price.
Most clients from our side as a BA actually would see about a 50 to 100K uplift for granny flats.
I've seen, with subdivision, I've seen $1 million uplifts.
Wow.
Which is insane. And we were like double taking. But it was a particularly
from
good
a
project.
Financing side, it's important to note that the bank vals will typically come in closer to the build cost, not what it would maybe sell on the market after it's completed.
Correct. So from the equity point of view, we can work on that 1.2 figure because the bank is controlling the payment to the builder. They're fully aware of what the build is, what's involved, what their expected value to be. So they'll work on that end value. So that gives us more equity to work with. And the second part to that with the granny flat is they'll also, in a lot of instances, factor in the proposed rent of that granny flat as well. So that can also improve serviceability.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the time the difference between it working or not. Yep. Particularly in the cases that we're seeing. And what we like about it is that granny flat, the cost of the lending or how much the loan size versus the income received, the post-settlement effect of that can actually be a situation where that person's servicing is actually improved.
Yes. Which
normally when we see investment property purchases, especially in the current market, each acquisition subsequently gets harder.
Down.
Exactly. More and more expensive lenders, smaller and smaller capacities for the most part. Whereas the granny flat construction, we're actually seeing, in some instances, improvement in serviceability. So quite a unique and interesting offering.
And like a rough yield for most investors in the buyer's agency when they're executing on granny flats would be, if you did a $200,000 build, you would expect the rent to be about $400 per week. And I did exactly that. I did a build in 2024 in a suburb called Bray Park on the north side of Brisbane. It's in Moreton Bay Regional Council. Yeah, it's probably about 17, 18 k's north of Brisbane CBD along the train line there. I built a 1 bed, 1 bath granny flat, and the build cost me, unfortunately, a little bit pricey at the time, but $210,000. Probably should have been more like 160, 170, but we won't go into the weeds of that. The reality was it rents for $395 per week, and you can verify that online because I share my prices and addresses. And so that's really great from a funding side, because once I completed that granny flat with cash out, Nevada was able to order a bank valuation. We were able to then prove to the bank with the leases we had that we were getting close to $950 to $1,000 a week rent. and then the property had gone up in value, not just from the granny flat, but the rental yield that was coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be a good way, especially if you've been sort of told you're tapped out with serviceability and you're feeling like there's not too much you can do with the portfolio. It can be a good way to sort of supplement things, and just very simply, not from a lending or policy perspective, but if it improves your yield, it makes it easier to hold the property, allows you to hold it for a longer period of time.
And that's why I'm moving to doing 4 developments this year in southeast Queensland, and I've got 2 renovations in Victoria, one in North Melbourne and one in Geelong. It's about balancing the risk versus reward. With the Melbourne deals with Nevada, we're going to refinance them once the renovations have taken place, so we can send a physical valuer through so they can see the new kitchen, they can see the new flooring. And with the granny flats, we're funding them through equity. Most of the clients will fund them through construction loans. And once you get them finished, it's then about getting that refinancing process every 3, 6, 12 months to pull out equity. And you're still comfortable because you're getting double income on the site. So it's not stressing a lot of the investors. Now, one thing I would add is a lot of people are just chasing these sites, but when you build a portfolio, it's about capital growth and cash flow. And I think people forget that when I started my portfolio, I did just buy, honestly, bread and butter, good quality homes in good locations. So not every single deal you buy has to be a granny flat or strata site.
Yeah.
You might be seeing a lot of that content because there's a lot of that in the online space. But I think it's about balancing it and timing those opportunities. So you might start with a bread and butter deal on a good block. Then your second deal might be a granny flat in a trust structure, which leans towards wanting cash flow. As you would know, for the banks, they want to see cash flow in trust structures. And then you can work with Nevada and the guys at Cube to get that third deal based on how 1 and 2 have performed.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have any questions around that, just feel free to reach out.
And I'm doing these sites right now. So we're doing 4 at the moment. The exciting thing is Nevada's helping me fund each of them. And maybe to wrap out this video, let's talk through each of those sites and what's happening and what we expect. People want to hear the numbers. If you've stuck around to the end, we'll give you what the numbers look like. So the first site I paid $800,000 for. That was, I think we funded that with a main tier bank from memory. It might be with NAB. I'm happy to tell people. It's not going to freak me out. And that interest rate's probably around that high 5s, low 6s. So I bought the home with an interest rate on the lower end. And then we might have refinanced a couple of the properties with NAB as well to then fund the first build. But then to execute on the acquisitions of the other properties, we've moved to second and third tier banks. So I bought the front house for the first build $800K, and the build out the back's about $300, $350, which puts me in around $1 to $1.1 million. As Nevada said, the bank value will probably end up being around 1.1, but after 6, 12, 24 months, you'll start getting more favorable valuations based on comparable sales. And I genuinely think that this site that I'm building that first granny flat on would be about 1.3 once it's finished, with rent of about $1,300 per week.
Yeah.
That's the really crazy thing about these granny flat deals, is it not only gives you potential growth, because Southeast Queensland certainly values the dual incomes because the rents are fairly reasonable. It also gives you the cash flow, and that's the real secret sauce of these deals. And that's why you need the right broker. And the last couple of deals, I'll be showing you walkthroughs. There'll be a walkthrough on YouTube for the property in Red Bank Plains and the 2 in Bundamba and Ipswich. So if you want to see those, subscribe to the channel, and there'll be even a link at the end of this video if that video's out. So you can see a walkthrough of one of my latest deals in Red Bank Plains, taking you through the front house and the renovation, and then showing you the space out the back. So I know it's tons of info for you on granny flats, how you fund them, how you can find those sites. Head over to purposeproperty.com.au and Cube Home Loans website.
Yeah.
And that's how you can find us there, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.